Hello students. Yesterday we have discussed Huygens principle, and also with the help of Huygens principle how can we prove the law of reflection and refraction, and the questions that is asked theoretically based on that. And even we have discussed what is interference and what are the conditions that are necessary to obtain a well defined sustainable interference. And later we have discussed how to uh, get the intensity redistribution of energy, or you can say that interference pattern in case of Young's experiment. So we have seen that cases. So and after that we have even seen the conditions for maximum intensity, minimum intensity, and also the questions based on that. So these are the theoretical questions that we are discussing. This is just like the revisions also. That's why I am not taking still the numericals that is asked. First of all, I am taking the theoretical questions that is asked, like derivative questions. So here one more question we have, that is very important question, and number of times it is asked, that is Young's double slit experiment, and how to prove condition of maxima and minima. And also the question is asked in different ways, like so that the condition of maxima and minima are this with the help of Young's double slit experiment. So for that case you have to know about this. So first of all, in case of intensity pattern, as we have seen that the resultant intensity due to superposition of two waves that has a constant phase difference phi, and frequency is omega, and we have taken that their amplitudes are a1 and a2. Their intensity is the final intensity after superposition, that was equal to I1 plus I2 plus 2 root I1 I2 cos phi. So in this case, if you will see, so this intensity is depending on only this condition phi, as I1 I2 these are intensities of individual waves that are emitted by the source. So obviously they are constant, but here if there will be the phase difference between them, that will change, then that time obviously the intensity will change. So simple, if cos phi, we have seen that if cos phi has maximum value, that is plus 1, then that time we have the maximum intensity here. So if you can see here also, we can see that this is root I1 plus root I2 whole square, this intensity that we will get after this. And if we will put the value of cos phi, that is minimum value of cos phi, that is minus 1, then due to that the intensity, resultant intensity, that is obtained as root I1 minus of root I2 whole square. So this is the intensity pattern in the case of Young's double slit experiment or interference pattern, and also this is maximum, this is minimum intensity. So if you will see this condition, then with the help of this condition we can find out the conditions to get constructive or destructive interference here. So in the case of constructive interference or condition of right fringes or maxima, the number of names for this, whatever you would like, you can just call it. So whenever the value of cos phi is plus 1, then we know that we can write the general values of phi. So simple, cos phi gives the plus 1 value for phi is equal to 2n pi, where the value of n, that is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. So simple, we can write the values here, n is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3 and so on. So this is the general value of the phi, means whenever the phase difference between two interfering sources or two interfering light waves, that will be even multiple of pi, then that time simple we will get constructive interference at particular point. And if you will see this condition, and if we will write the general conditions for the phi, means on the values where we will get the cos phi is equal to minus 1, this will be equal to 2n minus 1 into pi here. So whenever the values of phi or the phase difference between the interfering beams, that is even odd multiple of pi, then that time we will get at any point destructive interference or dark fringes. So these are two conditions that we can get. And also if suppose we know the path difference between the two waves, then you know that path difference and phase difference are related by the relation, that is, if suppose delta is the path difference, then this delta is equal to lambda upon 2 pi. So this is lambda upon 2 pi into this phase difference. So if you will put this value here, for that the path difference will be equal to 2n pi lambda upon 2 pi, or we can write it n lambda. So whenever the path difference between two interfering beam, I think that is not shown, then let's see it here. This is equal to n lambda. So whenever the path difference between any two interfering beam, that is integral multiple of lambda, or in another word you can write it like 2n by lambda into lambda by 2. So we can say that even multiple of lambda by 2, both words you can say here, then that time at the point we will get constructive interference. This condition we will use to study the Young's double slit experiment later. That's why I am telling you this. Second case here, that is phi is equal to odd multiple of pi. So if you will just obtain the path difference here, then this path difference is equal to pi into lambda by 2 pi. So pi will be cancelled out and we will get 2n minus 1 lambda by 2. So it means that whenever path difference between two interfering beam is odd multiple of lambda by 2, then that time we will get destructive interference. So these are the conditions to obtain maxima or minima at any point on the string, and we can even understand at what position and location the points will be of maximum intensity and of minimum intensity. So next derivation, that is very important equation here, that is Young's double slit experiment. So let's see what is Young's double slit. As we have seen that how to get the interference pattern in the case of Young's experiment, the wave theory, and even the concept of crust and through, so that we can get maximum or minimum intensity. So these things we can understand by the help of Young's double slit experiment now. So for that experiment, suppose that this is the source that we have taken, and these are two sources that are formed due to this single light source. Suppose this is source S1, this is source S2 here. So two sources we have, S1 and S2. Light just travel from here to here, and obviously these two sources are the wave fronts. Then it means that or at a single wave front means the light will reach at these points in the single time, means these two here the waves will be in same phase. So we will not get any kind of phase difference or path difference in these beams. Now whenever they will reach here, then all these waves will send out secondary disturbances, and due to the overlapping of that waves or crust and throws over each other, we will get maximum or minimum intensity distribution. We have seen that already. So suppose at any point here on a screen, we just want to see the pattern that is falling here for maximum or minimum intensity. Just a second, guys. So this one is the light. Suppose this is just traveling from here. So at any point P, suppose we just want to know whether this point P is of maximum intensity or of minimum intensity, means light will go from here and they will just form a pattern here. We don't know what at P it is maxima or minima. So let's discuss when at point P we will get maximum intensity or when we will get minimum intensity here. So to obtain that, let's just draw this thing here, and also this is center point, that this is the point of maxima. As light waves will reach here, then they will be in same phase. Then obviously whenever light is incoherent there is no phase difference, then that time you know that we will get maximum intensity. So it means that simple, that time we will get always maxima or bright fringes. So there is no need to again discuss why this point is bright point. Conceptual questions are asked based on this also, but here we were just talking about this. So suppose that from this center O, this point is at the distance y here, and also let the distance between these two sources, that is equal to small d. Distance between source and stream, that is capital D. So these things we have. Then by theory you can see that this distance will be equal to y minus d by 2. So suppose here I just put here m, this is n. Now as if you have to find out the conditions for maxima or minima, whether we will get here maximum or minimum intensity, then we have a condition that whenever the path difference between two waves, one wave, second wave, that is even multiple of lambda by 2, then we will get maximum intensity, and when it is odd multiple of lambda by 2, we will get minimum intensity. So we can use that conditions here to obtain the necessary conditions for constructive or destructive interference here. So for that, first we need the path difference. So to obtain the path difference, obviously this will be the distance traveled by this minus distance traveled by this, as this is greater distance. So we can simply obtain the path difference delta by S2P minus S1P here. Clear? Now to obtain the value of S2P, we can just see this triangle S2PN. If you will see this triangle, this is right angle triangle, and in this, this is as the hypotenuse, then you can just obtain the value of S2P, that will be equal to d square plus, if we will see this whole distance, as this is y and this distance is d, then this half distance will be equal to d by 2, means this distance is equal to, we have, this is d by 2, and also this distance is equal to d by 2. So finally whole of the distance will be equal to y plus d by 2 whole square and whole to the power 1 by 2. Simple. Hypotenuse square is equal to perpendicular square plus base square. So you can use that Pythagoras theorem to solve it. So we can obtain S2P easily by using geometry, and again we can find out S1P also using the triangle, that is S1PM. So we can obtain S1P. So S1P will be equal to this square plus this square whole to the power 1 by 2. So S1M, this is equal to base square, and also this distance, if you will see, then this is whole y, this is d by 2, this will be y minus d by 2. So this is y minus d by 2 whole square power 1 by 2. So in this case we have just obtained these two values. Now we can obtain what will be the value of delta here or path difference. So this is S2P minus S1P. So we can write here d square plus y plus d by 2 whole square power 1 by 2 minus of again d square plus y minus d by 2 whole square power 1 by 2. Now as this distance d is much less than this distance capital D, then we can apply the first order binomial expansion here. So or approximation you can say that. So as d is less than d, then we can just take d square as the common. Then that time if you will take it as the common, then this will be equal to here d square and 1 by 2, it means that d will be here. So this is equal to 1 by 1 plus y plus d by d whole square power 1 by 2 minus of d y plus, sorry, it's okay, y minus here d by 2 should be y minus d by 2 by d whole square power 1 by 2. Now we can apply the binomial approximation of the first order, in which simple this power will be multiplied here. So if you will just solve it for first order binomial expansion, then this expression will be 1 by 2 and here also 1 by 2. Now we can expand this whole equation. So if we will expand it, then this will be lambda is equal to, we can take d as the common, then this is 1 plus this 1 by 2 d square, this is y plus d by 2 whole square minus of 1 here, and minus 1 by 2 d square y minus d by 2 whole square. Now you can solve it by yourself and you will see that some of the things will be cancelled out after expansion, and again 1 is cancelled out. We can take 2d square as the common, then this will be equal to y plus d by 2 whole square minus y minus d by 2 whole square, and again if you will expand that two equations, then we will get finally 2yd, and here if you will solve it, then finally we will get yd by d. So this is equal to path difference delta. So finally we have calculated the path difference between these two interfering beams easily by using geometry. Now we can apply the condition for maximum or minimum intensity here. So as you know that condition for maxima, then first condition constructive interference. So for constructive interference, delta is equal to this yd by d, this is equal to 2n, or sorry, yes you can write it actually, 2n lambda by 2. And also if we are talking about the nth order, then we can write here, suppose this is yn, this is delta n. So from here you can just obtain the yn, and represents the order of fringe, means at this point suppose here we are getting first order minima, after that we are getting means first minima, second minima, third minima. So n represents the order of the maximum intensity or order of the minimum intensity, means the way in which we are getting the intensity pattern on the screen. So we can write in general this yn is equal to, from here, n lambda d by d. It is no need to write it. So here this distance that we are getting, it means that we can obviously put the values of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you will put value of 0, then y is equal to 0, means this position we will get maximum intensity. Again for n is equal to 1, means at distance lambda d by d, we will get again at any point P, if this distance y is equal to lambda d by d, then we will get always constructive interference there or maximum intensity. And again at 2 lambda d by d, we will get again maximum intensity. In the same way you can obtain easily, you can predict that where we will get maximum intensity and where we will get minimum intensity. So simple, this experiment helps us a lot to understand about the interference pattern and even the conditions for the maxima and minima. Now we can find out the fringe difference between any two, or fringe width we can call it also, means the distance between any two fringes, consecutive fringes, that is known as fringe width. Like if this is interference pattern that we are getting, so in this interference pattern you can see this is maxima, this is this one is minima, this one is again maxima, this is minima, this is again maxima. So order we are getting for maxima and minima continuously. You can understand, I think. So this width is known as fringe width easily. So this fringe width can be calculated easily by the difference between any two bright fringes. So let's find out for the fringe width. So simple fringe for fringe width. So first order fringe that we will get here like at y1. So y1 will be equal to lambda d by d. Second order fringe that will be equal to y2, that will be 2 lambda d by d. So we can find out what is the fringe width that will be equal to y2 minus y1, that is called fringe width. It is denoted by some beta. So beta is equal to finally this lambda d by some d. So this is the fringe width, and again if you will find out y3 and you will just take the difference between y3 and y2, again we will get this lambda d by d. It means that all the bright fringes or simple you can say all the maximas that are equidistant, means or simple not equidistant, you can say that they are simple, they have equal width. Later I will prove that they are equidistant also if you will get the fringe width for minima. So after finding it, you will find that the fringe width for minima, it is also equal to fringe width for maxima. So it means that a continuous equidistant fringes we are getting in case of interference pattern. This is also a key difference between interference and diffraction. So you can understand it also here. So now I think for constructive interference, all the cases that are equal, number of numerical problems is asked even. I will take that also after this discussion. So this theoretical question is asked also, and to prove this formula and this formula, these are two important formula that is asked to just formulate and derive. Second case here, that is for descriptive interference. So for destructive interference or the condition for minima or condition for dark fringes, you can call anything. So for that case, as we know that the path difference, that is we have already y d by d first of all. So this is y d by d. This will be equal to odd multiple of lambda by 2. So as these conditions we have derived already, means whenever the path difference between two interfering beams that will be equal to odd multiple of lambda by 2, then that time we will get destructive interference. So in this case, if you will take just here nth order fringe, then yn can be denoted by the distance of nth order fringe from the central bright fringe, that is yn is equal to 2n minus 1 lambda d upon 2d. So this is the conditions for the minimum intensity in this case of Young's double slit experiment. Whenever we have to get the minimum intensity and we have to predict where we can get the minima or dark fringes, then whenever its distance is equal to this value, where n can be values 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. So in that order, if you will find all the values and you will solve it, then we can easily find out at what distance we will get minimum intensity or maximum intensity. So in this way you can again find out fringe width. So to find out fringe width, we can write here the value 1. So if you will put here y1, so this will be equal to, in place of n we will put 1 here. So this will be 2 minus 1, that is lambda d upon 2d. And again if you will have to find out y2 here, then if you will put here 2, that will be 4 minus 3, then 3 by 2 y d lambda d by d. So we can take the difference between these two, and if you will solve it, y2 minus y1, that is equal to fringe width beta for dark fringes, then that will be again equal to lambda d by d. So it means that the fringe width for minima or fringe width for maxima both are equal and also they are equidistant from each other. So we can say that we are getting symmetric distribution of maxima and minima in the case of interference pattern. This is a quality of interference pattern also. And also here one more thing is important, the intensity of every maxima or every minima, that is always equal, means there is no such a case that we will at any point we will get a lot or maximum intensity, and after the second maxima the intensity will get reduced, after third maxima it will again reduce. No, these conditions will not be here. All the maximas are equi-intense and all the minimas are equidense. Simple, this condition is here we have. The condition will change whenever we will talk about the diffraction pattern. Here I am just telling you this case so that you can relate, or you can see the difference between interference and diffraction also, and you can remind it. So I think this condition and its whole derivation, the derivation for fringe width, that is very important and is asked already. And also this condition means to how to obtain the distance from at any point, that is of maximum intensity from the central bright fringe. Then this derivation is also we have discussed. So students, I think these two things that we have discussed, that is now clear. So I think about interference pattern, the theoretical distribution, all questions, that is now clear. So next case that here we have to study, that is diffraction of light waves. So in the case of diffraction of light wave, first what is diffraction you know already. So whenever we will put any obstacle in the path of interfering beams, before diffraction I just want to tell you one thing. Whenever we will put the any obstacle, right, suppose that we have these two sources and these are emitting light, and we will have just put any glass plate in the path of second light wave, and again now they are interfering at this point P, then that time we have seen that there is additional path difference of lambda by 2 arises in the interfering beam. So due to introduction of any obstacle in the path of light beam, there is additional path difference arises, means light have to travel additional lambda by 2 path through this glass plate, and always whenever any obstacle you will put it. So diffraction is based on this concept, means if we will try to pass the light through a fine hole, then that time light get bended or light bend through the corners of that fine hole, then this bending of light beam is known as diffraction. Or simple, you can say that we have just put any kind of obstacle in the path of light, means light is not getting sufficient path to travel, that's why it is diffracted, it is bent. So this is the case that is known as diffraction. So simple meaning is that whenever diffraction phenomena will occur, then that time light will feel additional lambda by 2 path difference. So if you have to find out now conditions for maxima and minima in the case of diffraction pattern, then simple that conditions you can find out. Obviously it's for interference also, as diffraction is nothing but it is also a type of interference in which we are using any fine obstacle to put in the path of light beam. Simple. So diffraction is we are using to bend the light, and even for that case there is one condition, the distance or simple the thickness, or you can say that the aperture of the hole or whatever that slits you are using, so that should be comparable to the wavelength of light, or that should be less than the wavelength of light. If it will be greater than the wavelength of light, then that time obviously light will pass easily through it. But if you will put the size of the obstacle that is less than the order of the wavelength of light, then that time it will be diffracted, and it is more better than if you will put much less size of the object than the wavelength of the light. So simple, if you have to study any object through the diffraction, then we have to take that light for which the interatomic distance or the distance between any two slits or sources, that is of the order of wavelength of light or less than the wavelength of light, then that case we can use that light. So I think the concept of interference is clear, concept of introduction of obstacle is clear, concept of diffraction is clear, and how to obtain the condition for maxima and minima for diffraction is also clear. Simple, we have to add lambda by 2 additional path difference for constructive interference and for destructive interference, then conditions will be just reversed in the case of diffraction. So next class we will discuss about the single slit experiment also that is asked. After that the numerical that is asked, or we will discuss it. So let's end the class today here. Let's just revise all the things and solve more questions.